morning, everyone. Welcome to our fiscal year 2027 special category grant application reviews. We are reconvening at 9:03. I think we have all of our commissioners present and accounted for, except Commissioner Gonzalez, who should be joining us shortly. So we have our quorum, and welcome back. We are calling the meeting to order at 9:03. And I hear that we have some housekeeping that Angie needs to read for us. And then also we have, I don't know if you remember yesterday, Ruth Stanbridge had a little trouble getting on the call for one of the projects. And so she has emailed us some responses to your questions that Angie will share. Angie?
Hi, good morning again. Just going over the housekeeping again for the webinar. This is a public meeting broadcast as a webinar and it is being recorded. If you can hear the discussion but the presentation is not visible, you may access the webinar by visiting gotowebinar.com. Type the webinar ID and your email address in to access the visual presentations. The webinar ID for today is 304-598-611. That's 304-598-611. When you are logged into the webinar, you will need to select the button that describes how you will listen. Your options are using the microphone and speakers or using the telephone. Please select computer audio only if you have a headset. If you are using a telephone to dial in, select phone call, the call button on the webinar information panel. You will then be given a unique audio PIN. You must enter the PIN number on your telephone if you wish to speak during the session. If you do not enter this PIN number, the moderator will not be able to take you out of listen-only mode and you will not be heard. Please note that the webinar participants will be in listen-only mode until you request to speak. You may raise your hand or type your request to the moderator in the question panel on the webinar screen. For project representatives, following presentation of the staff review for each project, we will call for representatives of that project. Only one representative should speak for the applicant. If you are participating by webinar, please raise your hand to make it known you are present to represent your project. If you are in the room with us, please move to the podium at the front of the room. Applicants should introduce themselves when recognized and be prepared to answer questions posed by the commission. You can also type your answers into the webinar chat box and the moderator will read them into the record. Presentations are not allowed. No additional application materials may be accepted from applicants today. Where clarification was needed on an application, staff requested the information in advance and that information has been incorporated into the staff review and the DOS online grant system. Commissioners participating on the webinar today, you are currently unmuted. We may need to mute all if at any time there's too much background noise, and if you are muted and have a question, please also raise your hand or type your request to speak in the chat box so that the moderator can unmute you. Okay. So the commissioners, the additional information that we received by email last night is for number 45. The Indian River County Historical Society, I believe it's the Security and Safety of Pioneer Cemetery. There were some questions about the fence and whether it was historic, so I'll just read her response. She said she's unable, she wanted to try and join today, but she has previous commitments, so that's why she sent the email. This is Ruth Stanbridge. Okay, regarding the question on fencing, the fence would not be new. With almost a mile to secure, we will be restoring, repairing, and in some instances adding new with in-kind materials to connect the different sections. Currently, we have sections of land acquired by the cemetery that really tell the cemetery's history. We have a section with an older wooden fence, then a section attached with hog wire. Following the hog wire, there may be a few sections of chain link. There are a few areas where the fencing was knocked down by storms and hurricanes last year. These sections would be restored, repaired, or replaced. We also intend to leave the native plants and trees that may be in the fence line as a natural buffer. Regarding, I think, Dr. Benson's question about unmarked graves, there are no unmarked or abandoned graves in the cemetery from 1896 when the cemetery was established. Records have been kept by the sexton and passed down to the next sexton. The boundaries are well marked and the sections of graves laid out in a pattern easily defined. There is a fence or a number of fence types enclosing the cemetery. And then time, weather, and gopher tortoises have taken a toll on the heavier monuments and gravestones. Currently, we have undertaken the repair and restoration to a monument professionally, but the number of gravestones and statues that needs attention has grown. On our appreciation days, families are encouraged to take care of their cemetery markers with more professional methods than bleach. New bylaws by the association were recently introduced to help this situation.
All right. Thank you, Angie. Is there anything else we need to wrap up on any of the other projects before we move forward? I think we're at number 54 now. I did want to remind everyone, please silence your cell phones if you have not done so already. And I wanted to just say we had a great reception last night. Thank you for all attending. And that was sponsored by the Friends of Florida History, which is our citizen support organization, and also the Florida Trust for Historic Preservation. So we really appreciate their assistance. All of you coming out and having some great conversation. All right, with that, we will move on to project number 54. The applicant is the Miami Spanish Seventh-day Adventist Church, and the project is Miami Spanish Project Hope Building the Future. Nicole?
This is the Miami Spanish Project Hope Building the Future project. The requested funding amount is $1 million with a match amount of $750,000 for a total budget amount of $1,750,000. This development project type scope of work includes install temporary scaffolding, repair, replace structural elements in the tower and principal facade, repair, replace 134 windows, install doors, repair, replace roof, clean and paint exterior, architectural and engineering fees, and grant administration. There are no concerns or issues, and there are no proposed scope or budget adjustments recommended.
Thank you, Nicole. Do we have a project representative online?
Yes, good morning. My name is Jose Venegas. I'm the owner's representative for the Miami Spanish Seventh-day Adventist Church. And greetings to the commission, and specifically greetings to Rick Gonzalez, a dear colleague.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for being with us. Do we have any questions from the commission? Kathleen?
Hey, good morning. Can you confirm what kind of windows you're using for the replacements? What material?
Absolutely. We have hired Austin Historical to begin a preliminary analysis to look at the wood window, the existing wood windows that are in place. Our plan is to move forward with wood windows.
Yay.
Any other questions or comments?
What's the year of this church?
1927, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
I have one.
Events.
You don't list any previous grant experience, and this is a huge project. How do you plan on handling the paperwork, the transactions? What's your plan for managing the grant? Not doing the work, but managing the grant.
Good question. The Miami Spanish Seventh-day Adventist Church is beholden to the Florida Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, which owns many, many churches throughout the state of Florida. I have been hired as the owner's representative. I am an architect and urban designer by trade, so I'll be helping them manage this grant specifically. So they've kind of set up a very specific hierarchy and plan of attack to be able to sort of begin engaging the historic resources of the state, given that they have multiple properties that would benefit from this program. Even more specifically, the Barrentine House in North Miami Beach, which is in serious disrepair. We're currently setting up the procedures to be able to do this. So the Florida Conference is dedicated to and committed to working and learning how to fulfill the requirements of the grant and working diligently to meet its requirements.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll move to project number 55, the Coral Gables Congregational Church, United Church of Christ. Nicole?
This is the Coral Gables Congregational UCC Roof Replacements and Window Restorations Project. Their funding requested amount is $476,865 with a match amount of $238,435 for a total budget amount of $715,300. This development project scope of work includes replace 3 flat roofs, 1 tile roof, restore exterior windows, restore exterior doors, and architectural and engineering services. There are no concerns or issues, and there are no proposed scope of work or budget adjustments recommended.
Thank you, Nicole. Do we have a project representative online? Oh, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming all this way. Oh, turn the mic on. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Reverend Lori Hafner. I'm the senior pastor of the Coral Gables Congregational Church. And I know there's some folks online as well who can also offer some information as needed.
Would you like to introduce your folks online?
Sure, if they would like to introduce themselves. I'm hoping they all made it. I think we have Richard Heisenbottle.
Right.
Who,
Richard, you there?
Not quite yet.
not
Almost.
quite yet.
Working on it. Still early.
This is Dennis Rodriguez. I'm the project manager.
Yes, by the way, Richard was here. So,
Hi, Rich.
all right, didn't know my mic was turned on. I had to turn it on. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we've got Dennis and we've got Rich. Is that
And I believe Nancy Lewis as well,
okay?
a member of our board.
Yes, I have Nancy Lewis. I'm enabling her microphone right now.
Nancy, are you there?
I have David Lewis.
All right. Well, hopefully she'll join us.
I'm here.
Thanks, Nancy. Okay. All right. Do we have any questions for our applicant?
I have a question.
Hi, Rick. Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering, why is the roof all just one color instead of blended tile?
Did you hear that? Why is
It's
it
a
all?
great question. I'm hoping that Richard or Nancy might be able to answer that.
That's not part of this project, Rick. That's this is and we're not replacing that roof either. That's been there. How it got that way, I don't know. But I know that our project will be the replacement of that entire flat roof in the back and the windows. Obviously, that's not something that you or I would have done.
It's just
But
an item.
Part of another day, a previous.
Item number 12 mentions repair, replace remaining clay tile portions of the roof.
There are some clay tile areas that were not replaced, minor areas, but nonetheless some. So that's why that was noted. Yes, you're correct.
So will that be?
I think the whole roof, the roof would have to match the tile that's there and to be consistent. How it got to that tile, maybe Dennis can tell us, but because I'm sure he was there. Whenever we replace, we've got to replace with what's right next to it, and we have some small areas of roof. Dennis, do you want to give some other explanation to Rick here?
How old is the main roof, Dennis?
The main roof was replaced in 2024. How old was it before? We don't know. It was probably 67. We don't have a record of when it may have been replaced since the building was erected in 1924.
So you didn't consult with Richard in 2024?
Our position was that the tile is going to age naturally, as it presumably did in the prior roof, and it's just going to acquire a patina with the passage of time.
Oh, that's a shame. That's all. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, any other questions from our commissioners?
What year is church?
We were actually established in 1923, but the building was started in 1924 and then finished in 1925, and was the first public building in Coral Gables.
This is,
Thank you.
this
It
is
is
an
stunning.
absolutely spectacular landmark across literally directly across the street from the Biltmore Hotel. So its significance and its importance, and it cannot be emphasized enough.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Kathleen Kaufman has a question.
I just have a comment. I'm a little bit familiar with this project because I'm the one that wrote the conditions assessment for Rich Eisenbottle 4 or 5 years ago now, I think it's been. So I know that the church and the congregation are extremely proud of this facility. The church is used for a variety of community functions, not just church related. They host a lot of events there. They're very friendly to the fact that they're right across the street from the Biltmore Hotel, which is kind of always impacting them anyway. But this church is one of the original structures that was built when George Merrick was first creating Coral Gables. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous facility, and they're so proud of it. They work tirelessly on this facility, and they're always dumping money into it. So I'm very supportive of this project.
Thank you. Yes, George Merrick, who was the dreamer of Coral Gables, was the son of a congregational minister. So he built this structure, understanding the congregational tradition that the church would be a meeting house, and so that the community would gather there for the arts and education and worship and all kinds of public forums and so forth. So we've continued that tradition. So thank you for recognizing that.
And I must say that I've given preservation lectures in the church as well. So this church serves multiple functions for the entire community.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here in person.
Thank you so much.
And you folks on the phone.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, now.
Next, move to project number 56 from the City of Homestead, the Homestead Historic Town Hall Museum.
This is the Homestead Historic Town Hall Museum. The funding requested amount is $405,838 with a match amount of $405,838 for a total budget amount of $811,676. This development project type scope of work includes installation of a new roof, waterproofing all 4 walls of the building, ADA elevator repairs, plumbing upgrades, architectural engineering services, permitting, and historic preservation consultant fees. There are some concerns or issues. The applicant was contacted but only partially addressed the request for information by the established deadline. Project team member's resume was included in section H7 but was missing from the list of proposed team members in section A4. The budget line item construction needs to be divided into multiple line items to match the scope of work. Professional architectural engineering services fees appear to be $89,598 in excess of the DMS fee curve, and there are photographs missing labels and a keyed map. There are no proposed scope of work adjustments recommended, but there is a budget assessment, adjust budget as follows. Reduce grant funds and cash match by $44,799 so that the engineering fees do not exceed the DMS fee curve of $73,618. So there is a reduction recommendation on this one, and the recommended award amount is $361,039.
Do we have an applicant online?
Just got a hand raised. Hold on just a second.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Rick.
I actually worked on this project 30 years ago. So is it okay if I comment on this project?
I feel so. I think that's fine. Yeah. You don't currently have a contract with them or anything, so.
No. It was after Hurricane Andrew. I went down to Homestead and did some work.
Oh, wow. That's quite a while ago.
Rick, I think your experience with the building just helps, like
Oh.
help convey that to us, you know?
It was 30 years ago, okay? So my memory is not as good as it was. But yes.
Great. So, all right. Do we have the applicant, Jeremy?
Miss Ashley Francois.
Yes.
There you are.
Good morning.
Hey, Ashley, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Ashley Francois. I work as a grants facilitator for the city of Homestead. And good morning, committee and board, and good morning to DOS staff.
Thank you. Any
would
questions for Ashley?
Yes, I have questions.
That's right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking for the budget. I'm trying to scroll here. Okay, the budget has very high number for engineering. It's 20% of the project. And then it has a very low number for a historic consultant, which I assume is a historic architect, of 50,000. But if you add those two together, that's 26% of the project scope. So I'm just wondering what's going on here with that.
Ashley, could you address that?
Yes, can you?
We hear you. You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, you're breaking up. Sorry.
This morning, can you hear me?
That's better. Yeah, that's better. Stay where you are.
Because I'm breaking up, I'm trying to get better. Okay. Good morning. Once again, I apologize. I believe that was an oversight. We worked with a grant writer to assist us in gathering this application. We understand that there is just one, either the historic architect or the historic consultant. And I think that may have been a confusion when that entry was submitted. We are only looking to obtain one to ensure that we meet our project requirements and meet the historic guidelines of the state of Florida. So I'm glad to assist to work with and correct any budget amendments. You know that prior to the application finally being submitted, we did call in just to make sure. I'm not sure who that email for corrections might have went to. It might have went to our applicant, but I'm glad to assist and make sure that any and all corrections that are needed to this application are done and provided back in a timely manner.
And that's something that, if the grant was funded, we would obviously work with the applicant to reduce that cost and make sure that the bids came in okay. So there is a reduction recommended, correct, Nicole? Can you restate what that was?
Yeah, correct. So the budget assessment, the adjustment recommendation from staff is to reduce the recommended award amount to $361,039. This reduces the grant funds and cash match by $44,799 so that the engineering fees do not exceed the DMS fee curve.
Do I have a motion? Second? All right. Any objection? All right. So moved. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So it'll remain on the list to be ranked, but the amount will be reduced.
Understood.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you for your time. All right. Project number 57 is next from the National Tropical Botanical Garden, preservation efforts at the Fairchild Sweeney House.
This is the preservation efforts at the Fairchild Sweeney House project. The requested funding amount is $245,000 with a match amount of $122,500 for a total budget amount of $367,500. This development project type scope of work includes repair, replace, and install 63 hurricane-proof windows, repair, replace 16 doors, and architectural and engineering services. There are no concerns or issues, and there are no proposed scope of work or budget adjustments recommended.
Nicole, we have folks here in person. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Brian Sidoti. I'm the garden director of the Kampong and lead grant writer.
I'm Bruce Brosh. I'm an architect and I'm on the building advisory committee.
Thank you for coming so far. Do we have any questions for the applicants? Oh, Kathleen does.
Thank you for being here in person, all the way from Miami, and not one of the most known historic sites in Miami-Dade County, but certainly one of the most beautiful. It's a fantastic site, but I just have a question about windows because that is my thing. The historic windows, if you're taking out the wood windows, and in the application, it says either aluminum or maybe wood clad. So depending on what that would be, would definitely affect my score. So, a wood clad would certainly be more appropriate replacement product for a wood window. Would love to hear Rick Gonzalez weigh in on this too.
You stole my question. Yeah, I agree with that. That was one of the questions, and I noticed they listed architectural services, but they have not mentioned whether they're hiring a historic preservation architect or not.
It says they're not hiring a historic preservation architect, which is
That's
also.
what I thought. That's what I had. So I like to hear from them why, because that also impacts my score.
The applicant like to address that, the type of windows
I'll let Brian talk about some of this.
And architect.
and the architect. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm an architect. There's actually 4 architects on the building advisory committee. We all have some preservation experience. I wouldn't characterize us as preservation architects, but I personally have done a lot of work on Miami Beach with a lot of the historic hotels there, so I feel I have some qualifications. As far as the type of windows, as you know, South Florida has probably the strongest wind resistant requirements in the Florida Building Code. And we require what's called a notice of acceptance, which means those windows have to be tested. If we can replace these windows with like in kind that are approved by the wind requirements, we will do that. The price we got was for aluminum windows. We're kind of bound by the Florida Building Code in this, but if we can do it and replace them with wood clad, we will be happy to do that.
I would say that you can. I'm a preservation architect and I've done them all over the state of Florida, including our southern counties. So we first of all, I appreciate your comments, but when I look at the proposed project team, you're not listed there. And so there's not a listing of a preservation architect. And I think that's important to execute the project. It's great that they have many volunteers on the board, but we need a professional that's going to work with the state staff in the implementation of this project.
Hi, Rick. This is Brian Stody. So when I was working on the application, like Bruce mentioned, we do have 4 architects on the building committee. I had reached out to a preservationist architect, and it was phone tags. So it is something we are aware of and take into consideration, or will do. But it just the timing of when I submitted the grant. And I'm also still soliciting proposals. I just wanted to get this, we had one proposal, and so that's what we based our dollar amount on.
Okay, I think you would make Kathleen and myself and others on the board satisfied if you were to say this morning that you're going to hire a historic preservation officer and that
Yes, we are going to hire one.
Okay, great. And that you're definitely going to look into the hurricane-proof wood-clad windows.
Yes, to both of those, wood-clad and hiring a preservation architect.
Fantastic. You've answered my questions. Thank you, sir.
And Rick and everyone will make sure, if it's funded, that we do include that in the budget and that Jack works with them directly on the product. Judy had a question.
Not my field question. Which are more expensive, aluminum or wood windows? Wood clad.
I would say wood clad would be more expensive.
It would be, how much more? 20%, 50%?
Maybe Rick could speak to that, but I would say
Yeah.
probably 20%.
Around 20%. But the feel, one of our historic preservation requirements is feeling, right? How the product feels and looks. And it's a big difference between a metal aluminum look and a.
Oh, yeah.
Flat.
I agree.
So it's a small investment, especially when you're not replacing with wood windows. We're getting better at restoring wood windows and making them stronger, but we still can't seem to find a way to make them hurricane-proof to Miami-Dade County standards.
Thank you.
I actually have a question for Rick Gonzalez. Rick and Jack, with the increased availability and technology and some of the new composite windows like Fibrex, how do we compare those with like just plain straight up aluminum windows? Do we consider them?
Well, vinyl is prohibitive, and these new materials are very new, and I haven't had a chance to work with them yet. We did get
not vinyl, like the composite, where it's wood, and they combine it with some plastic to create the composite.
I haven't seen those yet.
You've never worked with the Fibrex windows?
No.
Okay.
Jack, have you?
Wait, can you? Wait, Jack's coming to the microphone, Rick.
Okay.
Excuse me, yeah, I don't have any personal experience, but I know sometimes the differences are profile oriented compared to the other window profiles. So from appearance standpoint, whether or not, like I say, I personally don't have any experience with that particular window type.
So I mean, I was the historic preservation chief for Miami-Dade County for 10 years, and preservation officer at the city of Miami for 4 years before that. So I completely understand what you're talking about with the need for hurricane protection and the South Florida Building Code being what it is. I just never have really thought that an aluminum window was an appropriate replacement for those beautiful wood windows. That's why
if I may add to the conversation, at the Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens in West Palm Beach, they used wood aluminum clad windows, Colby windows manufacturer, which are stunning. The profiles look just like if they were wood windows. So to the folks at this beautiful botanical garden, have your architects take a look at Colby windows. And look at the case study of the Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens in West Palm Beach.
Thank you.
Rick, how do you spell that? Is that Colby?
Kolbe. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick. Question from John Phelps.
As full disclosure, this was on my paper route when I was thought about it.
More than 30 years ago.
A few years back.
Yeah.
Beautiful place.
Thank you so much for being here in person. It really is lovely to put faces with the names. And you did a great job on the application.
Yes, it's great.
Thank you for coming all this way.
Thank you.
For 2 days.
All right, thank you. All right. We'll move on next. We have another applicant here with us in person. Number 58 from the Mill Fisher Maritime Heritage Society.
This is the Key West Naval Warehouse or Naval Storehouse Facade Restoration and Fire Escape Replacement Project. The funding requested amount is $500,000 with a match amount of $503,000 for a total budget amount of $1,003,000. This development project type scope of work includes repair, replace 17 windows, repair, replace lintels, masonry, and window sills on north and south facades, waterproof north facade exterior, replace exterior fire escape on south facade, permitting and architectural engineering services. Pursuant to the program guidelines in the concerns and issues section, multiple special category projects cannot be under contract at one time. The applicant currently has the following funded grant projects open: 25.H.SC.100.116. There are no proposed scope of work or budget assessment recommendations.
Thank you, Nicole, and we have applicants here with us. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, Melissa Kendrick, Executive Director, and Dr. Madeline Burnside, Chief Curator.
Thank you for being here in person. All right, do we have
Thanks for having us.
questions from our commissioners?
I just want to thank you for coming all that way. You do it every year, but it's still nice to see you. You know, it's a long trek, and I appreciate having you here in person.
First time in 6 months I've been off the island, so it's welcome.
Wow. Not the worst place.
I want to commend you for having Raul Rodriguez on your team, who is an esteemed architect that's semi-retired. And I also want to commend him for donating a big portion of his fee.
Yes, he's also our board chairman.
Oh, he's the chairman now. All right, even better. So you're in very good hands.
Yes, he keeps me calm.
I scored you very high. I gave you 98 out of 100.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify, you said repair and replace. I may have had that somewhere in the narrative, but you see the budget for the windows are so low. It's our intention. Jody Rubin came to the building and we crawled all through it and went through an evaluation of the windows. Most of the windows on the north side that we're proposing to do the work on are in pretty good shape. They need to be, cleaned up and get some love. When we were going for reaccreditation, we did a lot of work on the inside of the building on trim and that. So we had them open. We fixed the weights and the lines, vacuumed out all the nice carpenter ants, get rid of everything in the holes of the building. So we think that we just need the love at this point on the outside. Of all of the 17 windows, there's 2 cracked panes of glass in there in my office. Should I tell them why? No. Okay. Kamikaze birds fly out of the trees on the courtyard of on the face of the building, and they think the building's not there, and they just fly right in to the glass. So I have 2 near misses right by my desk. And Jody and I, we tried to figure out how much of the glass is original of what's there throughout the building. We can see that a lot of it is, but because the county had the building and some post office occupation in between the Navy and whatever happened after, we can tell that some of the glass has been replaced. But we'll go through and do whatever we have to do on the north face and make it pretty.
What's the status of your grant that's open? I think that was for the facade or the canopy. I'm trying to remember when I was down there.
I wanted to stand here and say that we were done. All we have left is on if you see the picture on the lowest right-hand corner there, that little shed roof there, all we have to do is put up the wood deck and then the decking cover. All the iron supports have been taken care of, all the masonry on that wall we finished up. But we ran into a lot of rain in the last month, 2. And then we had it. If you're ever on Facebook or TikTok or anything, there are pictures of waterfront stores on Duval Street. People in their kayaks going down Duval Street. Well, if you get a truck, we'll be happy to give it to you. Yeah, and then we had a little bit of a circumstance that actually slowed down my other project that I have on the art side, is when the ICE squads came through looking for people who shouldn't be here. A lot of the people with green cards were taken anyway. So some of the contractors pulled out. They wouldn't have their guys with green cards come to work because they didn't need that. So that's also slowing it down. They started with the restaurants and the bars, and then they moved on to the landscapers and the roofers and the contractors. So that slowed us down a little bit. And because this particular part of the project is right on Front Street, They don't even want to come out right now while the hubbub is still happening. So I totally get it, but I hope that we get it done before Thanksgiving.
So this, you touched on this briefly, but this is at a very major intersection in the downtown, and it's open to the public, right? Can you just describe a little bit what happens on the ground floor of this structure and how many people actually come into it to look around?
We have about, well, the ground floor is a museum exhibition space entirely, except for 200 square feet that is a gift shop selling books and charts and maps and that type of stuff. The second level, and each of these floors is roughly 7,500 square feet. The second level is also entirely exhibition space. That's a new exhibition space that's being created from the Art Side grant. On the third level, we have our conservation lab, and we have collection storage in, high density racks, and an exhibition on that level talking about our shipwrecks from the 1500s. We have our library there. On the fourth level, we have office space and we have our archives. And on the fifth level, which includes the clerestory, and it's the most beautiful place in all of Key West. You saw it. We do in January and February, we do public programming in there because it's cool enough. It's not air conditioned at the moment, but I just got a grant from the Tourist Development Council to try to cool it so that we could use it for a longer period of time. When we want to do public programs and we are not in January or February, we either do them out in the courtyard, we set up everything in the courtyard, or right across the street is the Opal Resort, and the lady who runs that property is a vice chairman of our board, so she will give us space. So sometimes we plan it for outside, we need a rain backup, that's where we'll go, is across the street. So every bit of this building is working. We do about 226,000 people a year.
But every level is open to the public, essentially. Your office.
Yeah, essentially, at one time or another. And that's kind of why you have something. Yeah.
I'd just like to say that the storage that we've just put in is open storage so that the public takes tours of the conservation lab to see how that's done. But what they see on the other side of the space is a complete glass wall with shelving. Some of it, of course, you can't see into, but it's got a curated series of shelves that describes shipwreck artifacts and conservation and different shipwrecky kind of stuff. So.
And the glass wall is about 48 feet long. So it's a massive presence. When you step out of the elevator and you're on that level, it just overwhelms you.
Future FHC meeting should be,
perhaps.
You're invited anytime.
I'd be happy to go on that trip too. I was there about a year ago, and I know the secretary visited too, really, and enjoyed his tour, and your exhibits are just
We tried to talk him to death, but he survived somehow. He must be hardy.
Yes, he is. He travels a lot.
It is. Not anymore. They just made it look like Miami.
No. Oh my gosh.
Madam Chair?
It was.
Yes, Rick.
I think it would be fantastic to have one of our meetings one of these days in Key West.
We will definitely, I will look into that. We'll look at our budget.
I'll facilitate if you need be.
Actually, I was surprised. It's not as expensive to fly to Key West as it is to fly to North Carolina.
That's right.
Yes.
Or to fly to Tallahassee for that matter.
Talk about that in our historic meeting. We have a meeting in February at Luma.
Yeah, maybe.
Weather's great in February.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Bring your significant other, Valentine's Day is right around there.
Anyway,
Kathleen.
fabulous
Thank you.
application,
Thank you.
as usual. You do a really good job explaining the project, detailing the budget, telling us why it's a truly important structure. So good job.
Thank you.
Frank Terraferma has his hand raised.
John Browning?
Yes, I'd like to say, I did looked at a conflict of interest, and we determined that I did not have one. I gave them a fair amount of stuff, some 20, I don't want to say how many years ago, many years ago, and they have done a wonderful job. They're really first class, all professional, and the things that people have donated, they've taken care of. No Fisher stuff, they have a lot of things besides that. And congratulate you, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'd just like to say that I was there at the time, and I have to thank John because he gave us an untouched shipwreck. So we got to do all the archaeology. It wasn't like the Mel Fisher gift where we got stuff one day in 1986. It was Mel's, and then it was ours the next day. Thank God I wasn't there. But John didn't do that. He didn't touch anything. He came to us. He said, if I'm the shipwreck, scares the hell out of me, take it over. He didn't say it quite like that. He was a little bit, and never interfered with that. So, and that's a big part of what we now show because it's 1564. So, great. Oh, John, let's not go there. We're both
We'll have to go visit
be in
then.
this room, really.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Oh, Judy has one more question.
Yeah, what is your relationship with the Mel Fisher Archaeology Organization?
Absolutely none. The Mel Fisher group, as I'm sure you well know, was in our building. Mel Fisher bought the building from Pridham Singh, from the person who, yeah. And we bought the building in 2000. And as part of the deal, we had to give we did give them a 20-year lease on part of the building. That obviously expired in 2020. And since then, that's why Melissa is able to say that we now have public exhibits in every square inch of the building. And that's why 10 years ago, she called me and said, I have this little job. I know you're retired, but you might want to give it a go. And yeah, so I couldn't resist.
But there are no Fishers on the board.
There are no Fishers on the board.
It's broken apart completely.
Why do you keep, the name business?
name.
Yes.
Well, really,
You take this one.
really the thing is that Mel Fisher is extremely famous. We have other shipwreck entities in town that have come and gone. We have one in particular that is a commercial museum. I don't know how that, it's one of the beefs of my life. You should be a 501c3, but so we have kept the name because people watching television still, even when they're looking at the Fisher family, they hear the Fisher name. It's a marketing thing. I'm hoping that we outlast the negative qualities of the name, just as the Guggenheim and some of the others have. But in Judy's mind, I know we never will. So
I don't know. I was just curious about that.
No,
I know it's a draw. I know it's a draw.
It's a draw, and especially now we depend very heavily on admissions income. So I don't think this would be the time to change. We do have other names in which we are registered, but we haven't been able to switch because as long as there's, I don't want to make too long a story here, but as long as there's things like the Shipwreck Historium, which is just down the street from us, people go there and think that's us. And then they often come to our doorstep and say, is this the real history museum? we live in a tourist destination par excellence. It's not Daytona Beach. It's not things that are sort of mixed. This is all we get. There's nothing else going on. We don't even have Key West aloe anymore, if you ever like them. So,
Thank you.
Frank Terra Firma seems to have a question.
Go, Frank. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Frank, go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. The question that I had was, and this sort of talks to what Rick has mentioned. The staff noted that there was not architectural or engineering services for this project. Is that
No, there are.
staff or, okay.
There are,
That they were,
John Mateo, if you look at our team attachment, John Mateo is both an historic architect and an engineer. Alfonso Narvaez, who is Aon, who is the preservation contractor, was a National Park Service employee. He now teaches National Park Service people historic preservation. These folks did the work on the Capitol Dome in Washington, D.C. I gave you 89 pages of bios and photographs of their work. I'm sorry, Judy, I know. But their work is incredible, and they saved me from myself.
Frank, did that answer your question?
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, Rick, did you have a question also?
No, just that their bio is scary. It's that good, you know?
All right. Maybe they'll work in Florida more. All right.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you so
getting me
much.
off the rock.
All right. Good conversation. All right. And now our last project, number 59 from the City of Key West Historic Waterfront Playhouse Rehabilitation.
This is the Historic Waterfront Playhouse Rehabilitation Project. The funding requested amount is $989,000 with a match amount of $992,000 for a total budget amount of $1,981,000. This development project type scope of work includes removal of inappropriate and non-historic previous repairs, restoration of deteriorated rubble stone masonry and parge coatings, structural stabilization, rehabilitation of roof, fascia, and soffits, installation of fire suppression system, and architectural engineering services. In the concerns or issues, documentation of match must be reconfirmed at the time of grant award agreement execution, and there are no proposed scope of work or budget readjustments recommended.
Was that because the match was from the city? That was a resolution, draft resolution? Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Do we have an applicant online?
We have Daniela Salome.
Yes. Say Daniela.
Hi.
Hi. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, so we have 3 representatives here. I'm Daniela Salome, I'm the Historic Preservation Manager.
Carolyn Sheldon, the Senior Grants Administrator.
And Matthew Crawford, Historic Preservationist on staff.
All right. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Do we have any questions from our commissioners? Michael Francis has a question.
I just have a question about the date of the building. The application on one part says 1850, and another part it's 1860, and then in a different section it's 1880.
Yes, so our survey says circa 1850, and then in the master file, it says 1880. So that's where those 2 dates come from.
I see, okay.
And we'd be happy to correct that in the site file if that's incorrect. You can contact them.
Yes, actually, that would be great.
Great. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, Rick?
Yes, explain to me why so much removal of stucco on the outside and also on the inside.
Yes, so there was non-historic lath put at some point, and this non-historic glass is now rusting, and it's causing a lot of the parging on the exterior to just fall apart. And on the interior, I have personally been in the interior, and if you touch the walls, they're literally crumbling. It's like sand coming down.
Good answer.
Any other questions? Kathleen had a question, I think.
No, I just want to thank the city of Key West for, having so many preservation professionals on your staff.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Another reason to have a board meeting down there.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we need to meet their staff in person.
Yes, we'd be glad to meet you guys.
I don't know how many of our staff I can get down there. It might just be me and all of you.
Oh, listen to him groan.
All right. So let's see. So we're now done with our projects, reviewing our projects, going through and asking questions to our applicant. Actually, we had one, I think, that we were able to get online. I think it was project number 54. Jeremy, were we able to get the applicant on the phone?
Yes, she's still online. Let me enable that microphone.
And 54 was the Miami Spanish Seventh-day Adventist. Which I thought we had someone that addressed questions for that. Okay.
Hi, hello. Good morning. My name is Mary Morgan. I serve at the Florida Conference on behalf of Miami Spanish. I wanted to add some supplemental information to a question that came to our group regarding grant management. I would be managing the logistics moving forward.
Okay. And what's your role again in the project so far?
Yes, the grant manager.
Okay. Okay. So you're employed by the organization or your contract?
I'm employed by the Florida Conference. I'm the assistant to the president for philanthropy, which extends to grant writing.
Okay. All right.
And I have a comment. Excuse me. I came in a little late this morning. Is Stephen Fett your architect?
Correct.
That's a great choice, by the way.
Thank you. He's wonderful.
Yep. He's a good guy.
Well, good. We got to revisit that one for you, Rick. That's good.
Thank you.
We also have the pastor of the church, Mr. Rodriguez.
All right. All right. Do we have any more questions for them? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for revisiting that. All right. And so now I think, Angie, are we at the time you want to come up and give us some housekeeping for how we move forward? Dr. Angie, yes, Dr.
Okay, so now we're at the point where we just will give you a little time, the commission, if anyone needs to update any scores or comments. So once you're done, you can let us know. And then once everyone is finished updating anything they need to update, then Eric and I will go upstairs. We'll take maybe a 25-minute break to go upstairs and go into the system and have the system tabulate everything. And then we'll come back with the list that will be read into the record.
I have a question on the Pioneer Cemetery. Oh, sure. The fence is not a historic fence. How should we view the fence? Is it fundable or is it not fundable?
It's an in-kind replacement. Yeah. I would say it's fundable.
I mean, it's not a new fence, which was the question. If it were a new fence, we would say no. The question of whether it's historic, because it sounds like it's sort of all different materials involved. So some of it may be historic. We don't know. Without being able to ask more questions, I would say we can treat it as eligible to move forward and then score accordingly based on the responses.
Did we reduce that one? Would somebody remind me if we reduced?
No, that was the one, the question, if the fence wasn't allowable, it was the largest chunk of the budget, if the fence was a new fence.
So we're
So
still
we
at the
can treat it
original.
like it's fundable in our scoring.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Very good question. Thank you.
Mr. Terra Firma has a question.
Oh, who had a
Frank.
question? Oh, online.
Terra Firma?
Yes, I was just gonna say, sorry I couldn't be present today, but I just don't cut off the scoring until you check with everyone since I'm not there. But I'm just having to update a couple things, but I just want to make sure you guys don't.
No, we won't cut it off. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure. We'll announce everything, before it's locked and that'll all be.
Yeah, for everyone online, you can either type in the chat box when you're done on the webinar or just say out loud that you're done. We're not turning the webinar off right now.
How long does everyone need to kind of regroup and go back and take a look?
I'm pretty much done.
Probably no more than 10 to 15 minutes tops for me.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a 15-minute break. So that brings us back at, well, let's say 10:20. All right, we'll keep the line open, but mute our line. We'll be back at 10:20. Thanks. Good. You guys are efficient.
Yeah, well.
I think everybody's used to getting. Maybe if everybody paid their own way, maybe.
Hello.
All right, hello, everyone. We're going to check in with our folks online to see if they're done with their scoring.
I'm good.
Frank, you finished?
too. Yes.
Rick, you're done? Okay, is everyone here in the auditorium finished? All right. Now we'll take another break to go and actually go and tabulate the scores.
Yeah. No, we'll go up and we'll log into our computer here and we'll lock the scores. You don't have to close yours out right now. In case we do have a question, we're gonna look at all your scores and make sure everything looks correct. And if we have a question, we'll text Alyssa to ask. But we'll lock it up there and then have the system tabulate.
All right, thank you so much. We'll come back in about 20 minutes or so.
Whenever they're done.
Okay, whenever you're done. Could we do that? Actually, yeah, if everyone, are we still on, Jeremy?
Yes.
We still are. So we just had a question up here if we could go forward with our other business meeting, and I feel like we're
still in the sunshine.
that's okay. We're still in this. The agenda does have us.
It is jumping out of order of the agenda, but I guess with the chairs,
the rules and jump out of the
yes. Yeah, okay.
Do I hear any objection?
Could I just confirm if you're gonna do that? For the commissioners online, Frank, Rick, and David, did Cara Fleming should have sent you this morning a draft of the letter, just so you have it at the top of your inbox. So,
Yes.
Okay.
I have it.
Didn't you print it? Put it out in front of us? Yeah, right.
You can if somebody could get me another copy. Oh, thanks, Eric. I can reach you. All right, so I'm going to hand over the gavel, let her chair this portion of the meeting.
No, your name is on.
You're down here on the business items, so. I guess we'll let you know that, but.
Well, that's okay.
I can keep going if you'd like.
So we're gonna go down to,
And I do have one other business item when we get to that.
and, I think commissioners, you all know what this letter is about.
Could you turn on your?
Commissioners, I think you know what this letter is about. It's because we didn't get, two reasons. Number one, the special category grants were not funded, and they basically, what's a nice word? They identified a few of the projects that we had ranked and funded them. They also took member projects and funded them and put them all in one basket. So number one, they didn't follow our order. And this, how we do things, that we provide a list of ranked grants, and they being the legislators, can't mess with the order. They can fund from the top down, but it's number one project is still the first one funded, and the last one funded is the last one on our list. But they don't have to fund the entire list. Okay, so.
And Madam Chair, I just want to clarify that the 7 projects that were funded, only one of those projects was even reviewed by you. That was for Goodwood, and it was actually a separate scope of work, so that there wasn't an overlap in the application. They were assigned for. So none of the projects that other than that one were.
That's terrible news for the state of Florida.
That's what? It is terrible. So, the first step that the commission wants to make is to write a letter to the Secretary of State, who hands the list to the legislature. saying that basically what happened, how these grants are reviewed, and to encourage them that how much trouble it takes for all of us and the applicants to put together, and details about it. Our meeting that we just had, and the past history of the grants lately, and the effects of the losses of these grants. So anyway, do we need to read this letter into the record? The next step, I think, is to all of us to read this letter carefully, and then let's edit it by committee. If you have any changes that you want to make or deletions, we'll do it right now.
And Madam Chair, just so everyone's clear, I wanted to let everyone know that we did have a phone call. There was a subcommittee.
Right. Came up with a draft.
It came up with the draft.
Kathleen and John.
Kathleen started it, and Kathleen and John made some edits. And so, you know, if you all have edits, we can incorporate those and assist you in the process of getting this where it needs to be. But it does need to come from you and not from the staff. And I also wanted to see if there would be some discussion. I don't know if the secretaries, we put his name, or Kathleen put his name on as a placeholder, but I don't know that his name is necessarily the most appropriate for it to go to. He's aware of what's going on.
I was thinking about that. I do too. I was thinking about that last night. And the people that really matter are the Speaker and the President of the Senate. Yes, I would send it to the four of them, and of course, right. And Alyssa can give him a heads up that the commission would like to do that. You have a problem with Speaker and the President, the House is the President of the Senate and the Appropriations Chair of each.
Should we copy the governor too, just to put more emphasis?
Let's keep this in house. Well, yes, it was. He didn't have anything to do with it. Thank you, John. I'm glad you think that. Speaker Perez.
So what happens if we get 0 again this year?
Well, we're going this is just step one. Step two is that we as a commission had put together a coalition of the 6 statewide historic and archaeological organizations in the state to activate their members at a grassroots level to visit with their legislators to support not only the grant process itself, but if they had a grant that the legislator was in his or her district, to point that out, give them a copy of the booklet with all of the map where all the grants are, and a one-pager on each of the grants with a picture and a paragraph, basically. And I am going to put that coalition together right away, since we're right in the middle of starting committee week, and get them, the trust puts out the booklet, and I'll get the trust on it. We all feel that we need to act quickly. And I know that Melissa at the trust will put that booklet together right away. I'll make sure she does.
I think it's particularly important in this legislative cycle because the budget, the committee meetings will begin November for the appropriations process. The session begins in January. So the session is coming up quickly.
Right.
It's not too early to talk about this with the people involved. And the sooner the better.
How many members are there in the House big budget committee? You know, my experience has been, of course, you talk to the chair and the vice chair, but to the extent that any of us individually are allowed to go together, I don't know if that would be a sunshine violation. I don't think it would be. We're not potentially meeting to vote on something.
We've already voted. We will have voted.
I guess what I'm getting at is the most effective, this is all being decided basically under the big budget committee. And if those members understand how important it is to continue with the tradition of funding the list in the traditional way, it's probably going to be very effective to talk to each of those members if we are able to on a one-on-one basis, not just the chair or the vice chair. So I guess what I'm getting at is, does the trust do anything like that? How do they go? What's the process once we have our portfolio packet? How many members do they meet with, and typically which ones, and how is that prioritized, and how can we make sure that we most effectively carry that message? This session is going to be a hard one, just like the last one, as far as I can tell.
Would you help us, Alyssa?
Sure. Well, they do have a legislative day. I know they communicate with legislators on a fairly regular basis, but they do have a legislative day on the Hill where they all go up and have their members and board members come and visit. I don't know if Melissa happens to be online or anything, but they can certainly be part of the process.
I might point out that this line of the budget will be considered by a subcommittee within the general bill. Each house has a subcommittee that addresses general government questions, and they'll be the ones that hear this. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Senate had money in its original budget and the House did not. And the deal was to take it out altogether at the end. So I think the key is really to identify the people who will be on the subcommittees, target them initially, and then once you get through the process at the House and Senate level, once they come up with a general bill and they go to conference committee, there will be a conference committee that will address this, and they were the ones that actually dropped it.
Joint conference.
It's a joint conference committee made of House and Senate members, and the way a system works is the House will make a series of proposals for budget issues to the Senate will reply, and there'll be a give and take on that. At some point in the give and take, we got taken out. So we just need to be sure the right people are the ones we're focused on. And we won't know who those conferees are until the president and the speaker announce them. However, they will very likely include the chairs of the two houses that considered the original general government budget.
And John, those people will be announced, you think, in November?
They're already announced.
They're already announced.
We already knew who they are.
We do, okay.
In both chambers. I don't think the House sometimes adjusts its committee membership in the interim. I don't know if they did it this year, but probably not. I suspect we can look at the website and find out who those people are. House and Senate websites. They'll all be there.
Microphone.
I think most of them are set. Committees, subcommittees, chairmen. I have the chairman. I saw the chairman. I'm not sure I got. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And it's the key ones that you've got to get. Not just everybody. A handful of people.
It's actually a rather narrow number.
Right.
But you get to the right people, then you're going to have the best case.
Should we include the chair of the subcommittee now?
Sure. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You might start with the chair, but your protocol, how we're supposed to do it, we go to the secretary,
I don't think the secretary I think the secretary should be copied.
Right.
But I don't think he should be the primary recipient. I think we still stick with the president and the speaker as your primary recipients. Copy, of course, the budget chairs and the budget sub-chairs.
We clear with him first what we're going to do.
President and the speaker need to know what's going on first.
Secretary of State, of course, we start there.
Well, Secretary of State will be, we hope, one of our advocates in the process.
I mean, Judy, once you have it, clear what we plan to do and make sure he's okay. So we're going to see I'm sure it will be, we don't want him to have one of the committee chairs call him up and say, what is your commission doing?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Those three people are the most important right now. Give them a heads up.
And then soon, not too long from now, the budget chairs and the sub-chairs. In particular, the ones in the House and the Senate, that was where it'll start. Good.
You say the appropriations chair, which you want to send it to? Appropriations?
Yeah.
I would say the appropriations chairs in both chambers and the sub-chairs in both chambers.
Second, send them second. Maybe we might send them a copy a week later.
Right.
Right. 3 letters out right now. Secretary Byrd, Speaker, President of the Senate. Those 3. How does that sound?
Okay, so it would go to the speaker and the president and copy Secretary Byrd? Is that?
Yes, I think
Okay.
copy him.
If you could at least apprise him of what we're doing, I thought you might be.
Yes.
Then that would at least not come as a surprise to me.
Right.
And he'll see the list also, part of this process, he signs off.
Well, he theoretically has the right to
Oh,
readjust.
he does. He's the only one.
I know.
So basically 2 to the legislature, the speaker and the president at first, and copy Secretary Byrd.
Whether you need to send 3 letters, I think a single letter to the president and the speaker with copies to the appropriations chair and the sub-chair would be the better way to go.
Now?
Rather than 3 letters,
Okay.
one each going to each of those levels. I think that's how I would do it, because they all have the same information. And I might add, it's not a bad idea to have a conversation with the staff who are also considering this question. But that should be a personal contact rather than by letter.
Yeah, so we're writing the letter to dear Mr. Speaker and Mr. President.
Mr. President and Mr. Speaker.
Right, sorry, you're right.
President, Speaker, Senate is the higher.
I do know that, yes, I just was,
I understand.
I just didn't do it, right. The President and the Speaker, and send a copy to Secretary Byrd.
Right.
And all these others now?
Yes, I
Okay.
would.
Oh, good,
You got to get them alert early,
okay.
and that, no sense delaying it as far as I can tell. I don't see anything to be gained by doing that.
Good, so John, could you give us the list of the names of the people?
I'd like, maybe Alyssa could help us with this, because I'm not as inside on.
Can you do that?
She'll know who the sub-levels are that are considering.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
And Madam Chair, just process-wise, so I have this right, once the
Mhm.
letter's written, it can't come from us.
No,
So
no,
it would
it's
have to
coming from
come
us, absolutely.
And
And
would
it can
you
be me.
Would you be the only
I
signatory?
don't know, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah,
As a representative?
Queen, I guess, and they're gonna say, oh, God, there she goes again, you know, but, and then we'll make some personal visits.
Yeah.
During the course of the session.
We're gonna have to.
Right, we're gonna have to.
Because I think if we do this second year, then we've got a new tradition, which is not good.
Well, we went 3 years in a row without it, and, we really played catch up.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there were good reasons when those 3 years happened. That was in 2008 when the economy was hell. There's absolutely no good reason for what happened last year. And frankly, if it repeats itself this year, you know, I don't know if I believe in this board anymore. It's insanity that they're treating us like this. Shouldn't we be sending a copy of these letters to every applicant that showed up in front of us and ask them to also get involved and reach out to these people?
So they keep changing the names of these things. I can't keep up with them.
I don't know. I think reaching out to the legislators, each applicant should, that's funded, that's approved by us and on the list. I think they should meet with their own personal senators and legislators.
I
representative.
understand that, but shouldn't we advise them of what happened last year and ask them to help in this effort of, getting the word out?
Yes, that's true.
Letter would be public record, and I think a lot of the applicants wouldn't even know what to say to their own legislators. So maybe if they knew we had taken action, we could.
I'd say, John, go ahead.
Senator Ed Hooper is the Senate. And
Budget chair?
Chair, approach chair. And Martin, the House.
Okay.
And it's now called, the House now calls it the Budget Committee.
Instead of appropriations.
They're now calling it, at least what I've got. That's the two to start with right there.
Thank you.
Mr. Terra Firma has a question, comment.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy. The one thing, I looked at the letter, and I think it's a great letter. I do feel like there's one sentence, it looks like a long sentence, that veers into a subject that I think would be counterproductive. And the sentence towards the end that starts talking about the 7 member projects that were funded and stuff. I mean, the legislature, in my opinion, they do not like people. How do I say this? The legislators feel passionate about their ability to fund member projects. I think us looking like we're complaining about that process, I think is counterproductive. So that would be the sentence that starts talking about the 2.5 million.
Right, it's in the third to the last, the from the bottom, the third paragraph up. That starts with between 23 and 25, and it is the second, that paragraph, beginning with approximately. So
beginning the part about approximately 2.5 million did go to 7 projects, not part of the list. I don't think that sentence helps us.
I tend to agree with Frank on that.
I do too.
So do I.
So it's recommended to edit out the last 2 sentences of that paragraph? All right.
That's a shame.
You don't need to aggravate anybody.
That aggravates me because what they're doing is they're approving without any supervision historic preservation work. The last thing we need is another Flagler College interior dormitory project that happened.
I think we can say that in our meetings with them.
That's exactly.
We already say that, in the second paragraph of the first page, that why the commission was brought into being. So I think that is covered.
Okay.
If I could just say, Rick, I totally hear what you're saying and get what you're saying. I just, having worked in this political arena, and I know Clerk Phelps the same, as close as we have, when it comes to their power to appropriate and member projects, they feel it's very close to their heart. So I think us even trying to get into that is counterproductive. So,
understood. As long as you can, when you have your personal meetings, you can tell them how disappointing that is. We have all of this expertise. Look at all the time we spent, 2 days plus countless hours in the month of September to get ready for this, and they rejected it all, 0. I mean, there was absolutely no reason to give us a 0 this time around.
Please.
I know we could find you all online by Googling the Historical Commission, but they may not be aware of this letter, and it will just have your name on it. Would it be appropriate to somehow attach a list or pictures or?
Well, we could have it could be from us all, not just me. We could have a list of, like a joint letter as lists.
That looks too much like a petition to me. Blow back. I think it should be you on behalf of the commission.
Attachment? Of the commissioners. Right, and our specialties. Good, good. So we'll have an attachment. Right.
And if you do go to see them, they'll acquaint you with
Right.
the letter.
That's a
also.
good idea. That's a good idea.
This board's gonna meet again in November, right?
Yeah.
It depends. We're not sure. Appropriations subs sometimes don't begin meeting until about 2 months.
No,
Our board's going to meet in November where we could probably have further discussions on a more concrete plan that the letter will have been sent and we talk about
Right.
exactly how we're going to
Good.
champion the list and make sure that we try to get back to more
Right.
sense of normalcy on how it's appropriated.
Of that paragraph, just have them pull up the next paragraph.
And join it
Into it.
the effect of.
Mm-hmm. So that you don't
Sure.
have two paragraphs that are just one.
I think that works, Kathleen. Yeah.
Is that so moved?
Any other additions or corrections? Anybody object to doing this? The letter, as we talked about, the only edits we're making is the deletion of those two sentences. And we are adding an attachment of jackhammers. We are adding an attachment of all of the commission members and our special. Good,
Madam Chair,
yes,
I have a bunch of edits.
good. You're the academic, I know, me too.
And I think my main concern right now with the letter is it takes too long to get to the main point. I think the letter, I'd love for the letter to be one page. And I think you get to the critical point here between 2023 and 2025, this amount has been issued. I would love to see a sentence that says something like, many or most of the applications receive enthusiastic letters of support from members of the legislature.
That's true.
Which they do.
Yes.
And, you know, obviously we want to include the fact that it takes a long time for applicants to put their proposals together. I think some of the details we can probably leave out. It just takes them weeks or months to prepare applications. End of story. Yeah. It takes commission members, really some 2, 3, 4 full days of reviewing these. The fact that people travel from as far as Key West to be here for this. All of this, I think it would be much stronger if it were conveyed more concisely.
You can distill it
in one page.
It's legal writing, persuasive writing 101.
Yep.
You keep it to one page. You can make strong statements in single sentences, and you don't want to belabor the point because we're praying that it gets read.
If I were reading this as an outsider, I would think, why am I getting a history of the commission? And I might not get to page 2. I think we need to express disappointment, quite honestly. I agree with some of Rick's comments. I think that, as you know, we can leave out. You've explained very briefly what the commission is. I think you had a wonderful suggestion in that second sentence. The commission members wish to express their disappointment that none of the projects from fiscal year 2026 were funded.
A lot of the support letters come from.
They do.
Legislators.
They do. And some of them come from national representatives.
I don't know, what do you think?
How do we let him
Revise it?
Well,
Yeah.
I have another option, Madam Chair. I was going to introduce during other business that we do need to probably have a phone call at some point. You may be familiar with the Beirut Memorial, which was passed by the legislature several years ago. And Department of Management Services has been trying to get that installed at the Capitol and needs to run that through the commission. And we were hoping to do that before your next meeting is not until November. So we were hoping to do that before we could, if you wanted to combine that and do another short call and discuss the letter again at the same time, we could do that.
I'm happy to do track changes and send it out and we can collectively
Well, you have to
work
send
on
it
it.
Yeah, you have to send it to me and then we can send it as a meeting item.
I will say brevity is important in the legislature. It truly is. And if you can keep it down to one page, just make the important points, disappointment being one, support from legislators, et cetera, being.
Well, I know there was some reservation at the last meeting about expressing disappointment. But I think we need to express disappointment.
And concern. We are definitely
Yeah.
disappointed.
Okay.
I mean, we're definitely disappointed.
John, you want to say something?
We're beyond disappointed and we'll be livid if we get 0 2 years in a
We're not
row.
putting livid in there.
Well,
Rick gets to write next year's letter.
no, there won't be any Rick writing.
I'm sure.
No, there won't be any Rick writing. If we get another 0, I'm not sure if I'm gonna stay on this board.
The
For
year.
what? All this time, all this energy, all this work, especially if there's not a legitimate reason like a depression or a recession. We are in boom times, folks. They are paving all of Florida as we speak. There is a ton of money in the state of Florida and we got $0? Come on.
John?
Is that considered this past year's the 2026 session? It's the year they call it. Okay.
The latter year of it's 25.
Because we reviewed the projects.
I know, but their session, forget what we do. It's what they call, I'm talking about, they're reading this. Like I was reading. Forget the commission or anything else. The session this past year, I thought it was called the 2025th session.
It's
Not
the,
grant, not
yeah.
grant
it's the 2025-26
session.
overlap, so it's called the 2026 fiscal year. It's the latter year, which is opposite of the federal. The federal's.
The other thing is, you know, they were already having meetings. They were here Monday, they were here Tuesday morning, they left. They're up here already. They're gonna be coming, about every other week, I guess. So sooner, the better.
We need 7 days to notice a meeting, but
Notice it now.
other than that,
Really?
I have to put it in the
Right.
FAR, the
Right.
Florida Administrative Register,
7 days for what?
to notice a meeting for you guys to meet again.
Do we have to meet again? Can't we delegate to the chairman, give her what we think corrections and let her write the letter and send it? Let's don't put off 7-day meeting, then we gotta meet. Pretty soon they're gonna be in session. I can tell you, time is of the essence. I would have changed the letter a little bit, but if somebody's got some things, let them give them to you.
I'll give them to Michael. He's going to tighten it up and shorten it up.
So I'm fully comfortable with that idea. Like if.
Problem is, I can't be the go-between between Dr. Francis and Dr. Benz. Like, we can't pass that back and forth. If you'd want to give those to her today, maybe just hand them to her.
Let them give it to her today.
That's appropriate, if you guys want to discuss them, but I can't sort of give his edits to her and then have that back and forth.
Yeah, I was,
Right.
I think if we.
But he's talking about significantly reducing the content, so.
We're here today, let's do it. If you've got them, we'll give them to her, we'll try to work through it. It's over. I think if you wait.
You don't need to wait.
We don't need to wait. We don't need another meeting.
I mean, if you really want to get into the meat of the letter, we can pull the letter up and you can edit it in like we do for markers and such. It's up to you all.
Whatever the chairman wants.
Have you got a Word document, form of it?
Do, if I can get online. Yep.
He's gonna get it. We'll get it done.
Got a whole page.
Yes.
Well, you can take it, we'll give you 15 minutes. Take a 15-minute break and let you do it.
The earliest.
Hey, she's done the hard work. She gave you 2 pages. All you gotta do is correct it, right?
You wanna try it?
No. I did.
Let's try it.
Try to cut that to
My
a page?
correction was the
It's not that
2026.
easy.
Okay.
Now this letter.
Madam Chair, I'm I'm told we're done with the grants list, so I don't know
Let's
if,
pause our meeting,
okay.
right? And then we'll come back to it once the grants information and scoring is done.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're stopping the commission meeting. Michael is going to get the letter and edit. And then, Angie, you can, do the report.
And commissioners online, Angie's not at the microphone. I don't know if you heard that we emailed the list to you. If you'd confirm that you received it.
Yes.
Yes, we got the list.
Hold on, I'm checking, 1 second.
I just want to say this is the tiniest writing on this. This is the tiniest writing. Thank you, staff.
I received it.
I didn't.
Getting you a hard copy.
Oh, okay. All
Hope
right.
everybody brought their glasses today.
Yeah.
I think I have another pair of glasses if anybody needs them.
You could shrink those columns on.
All right, and if everyone is, feels okay about the list, then I will read it into the record. And following doing that, we will make sure that everyone here in the audience gets a copy. And also that we'll post this online at our earliest convenience on flheritage.com/grants. And so if anyone would like to make a motion to accept the list as presented. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. So the list is passed as presented to the commission. Angie, do you have any other comments before I read through?
I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
That we had a policy, developed a policy not long ago that when the scores are tied, the earlier submission.
Yes, we checked that. So the question was about scoring ties. So if you look at,
Already on the first page.
if you look at number 6 and 7, that's a scoring tie. The earlier submitted has a lower last 3 numbers. So we checked all those and the earlier submitted was ranked higher for ties.
And we've changed all the amounts in the event that they were
Yes, that's reflected on the final column, reductions.
Get a sip of water before I dig into this list. Hopefully my voice will hold out. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. All right, with a rank of, let me get a, over here to get me out. One sec. All ready. Here we go. Okay, rank number 1, University of Tampa, East Veranda Preservation with a score of 96.7. Rank number 2, Mel Fisher Maritime Heritage Society, Key West Naval Storehouse with a 96.4. Rank number 3, Leitner Museum of Hobbies, Safety and Accessibility Rehabilitation with a 96.333. Rank number 4, West Florida Historic Preservation, Pensacola Museum of History, score of 96. Rank number 5, City of Fernandina Beach, Historic Amelia Island Lighthouse with a score of 95.9. Rank number 6, Grace United Methodist Church with a score of 95.8. Ranked number 7, Osceola Research Institute, Deciphering the Prehistory and History of the Westissa River Basin with a 95.8. Ranked number 8, Coral Gables Congregational Church, United Church of Christ with a score of 95.2. Ranked number 9, St. Augustine Lighthouse and Maritime Museum, St. Augustine Lighthouse Tower Restoration with a score of 95.1. Ranked number 10, City of Apalachicola, City of Apalachicola Middlebrook Cotton Warehouse with a score of 94.7. Ranked number 11, Lighthouse Archaeological Maritime Program, the Lost Ships of St. Augustine with a 94.6. Ranked number 12, Pensacola Lighthouse Association, Interior Crack Repair and Painting of the Historic Pensacola Lighthouse with a 93.5. Ranked number 13, Friends of Casa Feliz, Safeguarding Casa Feliz for the Next Century with a 92.9. Ranked number 14, the Armory Arts Center, Creative Future with a 92.8889. Ranked number 15, Florida State Hospital, Apalachicola Arsenal Officers Quarters Restoration, the 92.8. Ranked number 16, City of Mariana, St. Luke Church Renovation, Phase 2, with a 92.7778. Ranked number 17, Bach Tower Gardens, Phase 2, Preserving and Restoring the Singing Tower, with a 92.7. Ranked number 18, Goodwood Museum and Gardens, Preserving the Buildings of Yesterday for Tomorrow, with a 92.5. Ranked number 19, City of Chipley, Old Chipley City Hall, with a 92.4. Ranked number 20, Port Theater Art and Culture Center, Tuck Point, Existing Brick at Water Intrusion Sites, 92.4. Ranked number 21, City of Key West, Historic Waterfront Playhouse Rehabilitation, the 92.2. Ranked number 22, Apalachicola Area Historic Society, Rainy House Restoration, score of 92.1. Ranked number 23, the Stranahan House Roof Rehabilitation with a 91.8. Ranked number 24, National Tropical Botanical Garden Preservation Efforts at the Fairchild Sweeney House with a score of 91.5. Ranked number 25, Diocese of St. Augustine, St. Paul's Catholic School Exterior Renovation with a 90.9. Ranked number 26, Admiral Farragut Hall Roof Restoration with a 90.9. Ranked number 27, Flagler College Phase 2, St. Johns River Coastal Zone Survey and Resiliency Project with a 90.8889. Ranked 28, Episcopal Church of the Diocese of Florida, Ruge Hall Exterior Renovation with a 90.6. Ranked number 29, City of Fort Myers Exterior Restoration of the Sidney and Vern Davis Art Center, score of 90. Ranked number 30, Community Improvement Association of Seminole County, Hopper Academy Restoration Phase 2 with an 89.9. Ranked number 31, First Missionary Baptist Church, Fernandina Beach, First Missionary Baptist Church Restoration with an 89.5. Ranked number 32, First Presbyterian Church of Monticello, Historic 1840s Church Foundation Stabilization with an 89.5. Ranked number 33, New College of Florida, College Hall Interior and Exterior Preservation and Restoration with an 89.2. Ranked number 34, City of Pensacola, Gibson School Preservation and Rehabilitation Project with an 88.7. Ranked number 35, Tampa Firefighters Museum Restoration with an 87.7. Ranked number 36, Treehouse Sanctuary Restoration with an 87.6. Ranked number 37, County of Manatee, the Cortez Historic District's 1912 Cortez Rural Graded Schoolhouse and Nature Preserve with an 87.6. Ranked 38, Springfield Preservation and Revitalization Council, the Drury Mansion Rehabilitation with an 87.3. Ranked 39, City of Tarpon Springs, Cicadia Cemetery Restoration with an 87.2. Ranked number 40, Everglades Society for Historic Preservation, Bank of Everglades Building Rehabilitation with an 87.1111. Ranked 41, the Bel Air Garden Club Remembers Restoration and Preservation with an 87.1. Ranked number 42, the Miami Spanish Seventh-day Adventist Church, Miami Spanish Project Hope, Building the Future, score of 87. Ranked 43, Sarasota County Board of County Commissioners, the Sarasota County Historic Courthouse, exterior benches and restoration, score of 86.4. The ranked 44, Lakeside Historical Cemetery Restoration Project, 85.8. Number 45, Liberty County School District, Historic Hosford School Roof Chimney Repair, score of 85.8. Rank 46, the Pleasant Street Historical Society, Smith Griffin House Renovation, score of 85.4444. Rank 47, Havana History and Heritage Society, Havana Planners Exchange Historic Site, score of 84.9. Ranked 48, City of Homestead, Homestead Historic Town Hall Museum, score of 84.4. Rank number 49, City of Mount Dora Education Hall, score of 84. Rank number 50, Pasco County Board of County Commissioners, Floor Restoration, Historic Elfer School, score of 83.9. Ranked 53, Renaissance Park Youth Camp and Family Center, Graham's Place Restoration and Preservation, score of 83.8889. Ranked 52, the Simchat Torah Beat Midrash, Restoration of Citrus Tower, score of 83.6. Rank number 53, the Jackson County Board of County Commissioners, Endeavor Museum Development and Construction, Phase 2, score of 82.8. Rank number 54, Institute of Diving Incorporated, Man of the Sea Museum Outdoor Exhibit Wall, score of 82.7. Ranked 55, Clay County Board of County Commissioners, Middleburg Color School Planning and Restoration, score of 81.6. And then those are all of our projects that ranked above a score of 80. And would potentially be on the list to move forward. These projects I'm about to read are ranked below 80 and would not move forward on the list. Rank number 56, Winter Garden Heritage Foundation Among the Lakes, a look at West Orange County's waterways past and present, had a score of 79.1. Ranked 57, Paradise Missionary Baptist Church, Paradise Rehabilitation with a score of 78.1. Lake City, Columbia County Historical Museum exhibits to update Columbia County Historical Museum, score of 76.8. Rank 59, Indian River County Historical Society, Security and Safety, Pioneer Cemetery, score was 75.9. So that is our list today. That means 4 projects fell below the line. Angie, do you have, Kathleen Kaufman has a question.
Would it be possible to add a column that does a running total by project so that we can see up to the 23 million, that's the total we're asking? Like, so that, let's say number 40 wants to go, lobby their own legislator, they would say, look, we're at this level on the list and it would need.
Yes, when we do we're going to clean this list up before we send it to the secretary, and we do add a running total column that shows as it's
and then
added.
We'll resend it to us too?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
I just find it interesting to see how, once each project is added, how that adds up to the 23 million.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Go ahead. I have a comment on something else, Kathleen.
There's very few of you left here in person, and I have no idea how many are even still listening on the webinar. But I was just going to say to the applicants who made the ranked list, your job is not done. Your job is not done here. It's really, really important that you go out to your own legislators and express to them the importance of this program, the importance of this grant, and what it means to you, and explain to them, your scope of work, your project, and that you would really love to see their support as best as they can. They may not be even on the right committee, but that's making the actual funding decisions, but certainly the more you can let every legislator know. If everybody on this project list went to their own legislators, that would cover a lot of them.
I have just recently discovered online, John, that interestingly enough, the budget of the Department of State is handled by Senate Appropriations Committee on Transportation, Tourism, and Economic Development, and in the House, Transportation and Economic Development. It seems like an oddity, but it's how it is.
Asked me, did I want, I didn't know why they did. But they asked. So we're gonna get them all.
Yeah.
Get all the,
Those are your principal, those are the principal committees in each house that will be handling this budget.
Can I ask you a question about the list from last year?
Yeah. Angie, what was our number from last year we asked
I
for?
remember. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I didn't know.
I feel like it was 17 million or yes.
It's in the teens.
I mean, I can get that exact number while you're talking about the letter.
I know we didn't have as many applications last year because we were.
No, we ranked, I think 50, I think we sent forward 50 something. So it was similar. But I think we might, I don't know the exact number, but there may be a few more this round that are above 500,000 because last year was the first year that we did up to $1 million. So some people just didn't realize that and they applied for just 500 when they probably could have done higher, but a little bit few more did it this time.
Yeah, there are more $1 million requests.
Yeah.
Right.
Are there any other questions on the list? Okay. So as we said, we'll clean that up. We'll get that out to the secretary and email that out to you with the cumulative totals on it. We'll get it posted online. Anything else I'm missing? Okay.
Mm-mm.
I got a email from Melissa from the trust, and she's on board, and we'll get the booklet out right away.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I guess we'll pass it back over to our business meeting.
Okay, the business meeting. I'm trying not to bother Michael. I know you are.
We can talk about the.
We have a little bit of business.
Madam Chair?
To adopt the agenda, yes.
I think I have to go. Is it going to cause a quorum issue?
No.
Okay. Wanted to thank all of you guys for how much I enjoy coming over here and visiting with all of you. To the applicants, I appreciate the opportunity to review these. This is arguably the most fun in government I've ever had. And some of that's few and far between. And so I hate to leave early, but I got a couple restaurants that are doing their best to implode on themselves, because if you leave them loose too long, they just kind of tend to run themselves into a ditch. So thank you guys, and I'll be in touch very soon and look forward to seeing everybody again in November. Sounds great. Thank you guys.
Parker. So, with just a little bit, the adoption of the agenda. You all have a copy of the agenda in your packets. And I will need a motion to approve our agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, John.
Actually, we're already approved. We're just on the lower part.
What? We're just out, we've all done this?
We've done all, that's all our grant stuff. So we're just down here to the discussion of the letter and the other business now.
Okay, well, I was trying to give Michael a little bit of extra.
Well, we could talk about the very,
anything.
we could talk about the.
I have some other issues if you want to just have chat time.
I would like a list of who the letter is to, if you don't know the names. What I've got is send the letter to the senator, the president of the Senate, the House Speaker, and a copy to Senator Byrd. They're the first three recipients.
Secretary Byrd.
Yes, Secretary Byrd. Wait a little while, 3, 4, 5 days. And then we send it to the budget chair, or do we do the transportation now?
Why are we waiting?
Well, I don't know. That was the question. I got a question mark. Are we waiting?
I don't think we do.
All right, well then, we won't. So, in the letter, in the heading, do you put, we will put who's being copied?
Yes, it should be in the bottom of the
In the bottom. Okay, good.
letter, as usual.
Yes. So we're not sending it to the House Budget Chair or the Senate Appropriation Chair. Those are scratched. Now we're going to do the Senate and House Transportation Committee.
And we're sending it to the chairs of appropriations in both chambers as well, then a further copy to the subcommittee chairs of each house.
We're still doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, so all that is okay. Now, where does transportation come in?
That's the subcommittee, believe it or not.
I got you. So that's the structure.
That's how it works.
All right.
That's where the budget is originated.
Sub-chair is transportation.
Well, it's called, in the Senate, it's called Senate Appropriations Committee on Transportation, Tourism, and Economic Development.
Right.
And in the House, it's the House Transportation and Economic Development Committee. I'm not sure they're called committees or subcommittees,
Right.
but we'll find out.
All right, where do I send this rapid draft?
We need to post it
Well, if we can get it
on the screen.
to Jeremy somehow to get it on screen.
Jeremy, how can I get this to you?
He's coming. John Brown, you got us on overdrive here. That's good.
I'm not promising anything, John Browning. This is a rapid one-page deal. Oh, no, I don't have one.
Yes, let's take a,
Yes, let's take a break.
yeah. Jeremy, can he email it to you? Are you logged in up there? Would that be good?
Well, I'm not promising it.
That's probably better because then we're not.
Judy, do you want me to bring up the issue I was talking about of advancing projects that are not funded into the next term by rule?
We can talk about that.
We get some
Yeah, we got a little time. I've got a couple of other questions
Okay.
that I wanted to talk about.
Right back on.
Right.
I learned so much from you all.
The national nomination, I
Thank you.
Also behind you.
We're not addressing it to the secretary. No.
Yeah, I left all that for Judy,
Right.
because I didn't take notes there.
11-person body created in 01 to bring order to funding projects that restore and preserve Florida's vanished historical resources. Distinguished commissioners are appointed by the governor, the Senate president, and speaker of the House, all are experts in their respective fields. One of the commissioners.
Dr. Benz, if you're going to read it, you could unmute yourself.
Right, sorry. The Florida Historical Commission is an 11-person body created in 01 to bring order to funding projects that restore and preserve Florida's vanishing historical treasures. Distinguished commission members are appointed by the governor, the Senate president, and the speaker of the House, and all are experts in their respective fields. But there are at-large members that are members of the general public, right? No, never mind. One of the commission's main duties is to review and rank the annual special category historic preservation grant applications. The Florida Historic FHC is grateful to the Senate's committee, a commitment to the protection and preservation of Florida's remarkable patrimony. Good word. Between 03 and 25, the legislature allotted a total of $38,400,000 in special category grants. However, in the 2026 session, that's the 2025 session, right?
Yes. 25, 26 though, but so it's fiscal year 2020.
Okay, so that should be changed. Michael, make that note.
Wait.
I'll do it. Okay.
25-26
session.
I can make that right here. All right.
Jeremy can do
Jeremy,
it.
make that, insert that. Yes. Thank you. None of the 46 ranked applicants received funding. Received funding. We write this letter to express our disappointment that none of the 46 recommended projects received funding. It is worth noting the special category grant application and review process is arduous. Applicants seeking funding must submit lengthy and detailed proposals, most of which include enthusiastic letters of support from the member of the Florida legislature. Great sentence. Moreover, every member of the commission spent weeks reviewing and ranking applications. In any given year, it is normal for each commissioner to review between 60 and 75 applications within the annual cycle. Over a 2-day meeting held in the R.A. Gray building, each applicant is invited to stand before the commission and answer questions regarding the applications. Applications are reviewed solely on the merits of the project and without any bias towards a particular region or district. The effects of this absence of funding will be severe because of the losses incurred when endangered historic structures are left to suffer the effects of deterioration or even collapse. Good sentence. Commission members recently reviewed and ranked the 26, 27.
Slash?
Slash.
It would help if you would speak into the microphone.
Right. Okay, grant applications. We respectfully ask that the legislature consider the information provided in this letter, and we are hopeful we can count on restoration of funding for the special category grant program for 2026/2027. Together we can preserve and promote. We are delighted to provide additional information. Many thanks. I think we should add one little phrase to approve them in rank order, somewhere in there. Remind them, what do you think? No? All right, never mind.
The last 26, 27, just put in the future. So we're asking for them to just keep going on forever,
Yes.
not just.
Yeah, so you can put a period after grant program.
Or
In the
and beyond.
last
For
paragraph.
2026, 27 and beyond.
I think for the special categories grant program. I think that's what we're asking them.
All right, yeah, that's right. Okay,
Yep, just delete all that.
that's
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Okay.
And, can you scroll it back up, Jeremy?
Could you say that into the
Scroll
microphone?
back up, Jeremy.
Scroll up.
towards the beginning. There you go.
Okay, so we end, nope.
It's moving. It's not him.
Sorry.
Stop.
So we end the second paragraph saying that none of the 46 ranked received funding.
Yep.
And then we start the next paragraph saying the same
Yeah.
thing. We should not
Yep.
do that.
Yep.
But I like the sentence starting with, we write this letter to express our
Right.
disappointment that this occurred.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we can say that no funding was allocated last year. Nope,
And
and
end
then
the
the
sentence
sentence there.
at year.
Period. And disappointment instead of disappoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. No funding was allocated last year of the.
And then erase the rest of that until it is worth noting.
Right. Take out that sentence fragment. Right.
A couple typos.
Where are they?
One is where it says, wherever every member of the commission spend weeks.
Yeah.
Last sentence of that paragraph, Jeremy, or next to last.
I want to keep it in the, we do it on the.
Spends should be plural.
So it is,
Spends. Every spends. Every member spends.
And then the other one was up in the top paragraph. Annual should not be capitalized. Yes, correct.
lowercase annual on the
I
first.
put these here for my help.
Oh, he added line numbers.
17.
Line 17, annual should not be capitalized.
Oh, it's in layout. It's in layout. It's not line number. I do it all the
Okay.
time.
What tab is that under?
Layout.
Jeremy, on line 26, the should not be capitalized before special category.
Oh, I really like the sentence that Mr. Drysdale wants to add.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that, please?
You wrote something on the draft. Right there.
Oh, it was, it said we write this letter to express our disappointment that none of the 46 receive funding and to underscore the importance of this program to the people.
Okay, go to line 25. And at the end of that first sentence, okay, what is it?
So add a space there and underscore.
The importance of this program.
Would you mind unmuting Mr. Drysdale?
To the people of Florida.
Oh, thank you.
So there's a typo, the 75 should come after 75 before applications.
What line?
On line
31. Okay.
Jeremy, this is working good. Thank you.
This is what he does for the marker council, for marker text.
What it was like before that.
No.
On the phone.
Right.
We could make it shorter also, but instead of saying between 60 and 75, say up to 75 applications.
Well, but sometimes we have more. We have had years where we've had more.
We could say to review 60 and more, 60 or more applications.
More than.
It is normal. Mhm. It is normal for us to review 60 or more. That's good.
Yeah.
We say detailed, 60 more detailed applications.
Well,
I think
No.
that's already in there.
Yeah, it's right above it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeremy, can you put the view on full page? We can see that we're, no, just make sure that the view is one page, right? See, I don't want to get more than one page long. Right now, we're 2 pages at that font.
Yeah, but maybe we don't have to use all that space for the address.
And instead of a line break,
Or the
the
date.
line between paragraphs, you can just indent.
Just move the date.
Take out all the address for Secretary Byrd, because we're going to address it to a couple of different people.
Typically, when correspondence is sent both to the president and the speaker, they block those addresses at the top. Two separate.
2 blocks?
I mean, there's no way not to make it kick over to a second page if we're going to have 2 address blocks.
No, but they're side by side.
Yeah, they're side by side.
Right, right. You don't take any more vertical space.
No.
I don't know.
Don't worry about that.
I'm old and I need font that I can read.
And,
You know?
I know, but
The 12 pointer, what's the font size, Jeremy?
what's the font you're using size? 12?
Yep, we got Calibri 12.
Try 11. There you go, that's good. We can put CC over to the right of my signature and use that vertical space. The signature block, right. And there's going to be, right. There will be, 5 CCs.
You're attaching the historical commission.
Yeah. And the second page is going to be the membership of the historical commission. Right.
Five CCs.
You can also fool with the margins. Make the margins narrow. We've been down this road before.
I don't know if we need to do all that right now, Jeremy.
No, really.
Yeah, Jeremy, that's good. That's good. We can format it.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep it on one page. We can shrink the margins. We're going to have 2 blocks side by side up top to the speaker and the president.
Hello.
Hello.
Madam Chair, thank you for recognizing me. Listening to y'all work on this, I wanted to just offer one quick comment. Disappointment can be shrugged off. It's more difficult to shrug off concern. So while I think it's great for you as a body to express disappointment, I suggest you add the words "and concern," because concern is harder to shrug off politically.
That's funny. I had that in the original draft and I thought, I think that's going to get edited out.
Add it. Jeremy, add that. Disappointment and concern. Thank you. It takes a village, you know?
Yeah, lines.
7 years of law practice.
That's good.
I've got the names of the other two. Good. Senator Probst, that's Transportation, Tourism, and Economic Development. Senator Nick, and I'm gonna spell it, D-I-C.
V is in victory?
That's D is in dog.
D.
D, I C, oh, D-I-C-K, okay.
D-I-C, capital C, E-G-L-I-E.
Basically.
And in the House, it is Representative Jason, S-H-O-A-F.
S-H-A-O-F isn't funny?
S-H-O-A-F.
OAF.
Those are transportation committees, but they both do economic development and tourism. So they say that.
Let me see your phone really quick. Does it have the D-I?
Oh, my goodness.
D-I.
Yes, D-I.
Capital C.
C-E-G-L-I-E. First name.
No, we just
Got
needed
it.
the right.
And these are transportation,
The subcommittee
not approach.
Subcommittee, appropriate, you can get to the problem. Appropriations, transportation, tourism, and economic development.
Tourism.
Yes, it's okay,
Yes.
right.
It's a transportation, tourism, economic development. That's in the Senate. The House one is called transportation, economic development budget. So they're both, that's the two. They can give you the proper.
Right. Can
Don't you-
staff
yes,
help
sir,
us
Ms.
with
Rollins.
the address labels?
We can make sure you've got the correct.
The right people, the
Correct.
right
We can work with our
titles.
legislative affairs person
Right,
to make sure you've
right.
got the right appropriate people.
Good, thank you. All right, any other changes to the letter anybody can think of?
Can we get copies of the new one? Did we
Looks great.
Not yet, not yet.
I mean, email, can we get copies of the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cara can send to the, commission as she usually does as the point of contact.
Right. Good, so is there a motion to accept this, to approve this letter?
So moved.
Right. What's the new
Thank you.
phrase? Is any object? Without objection? Any objection? So moved. We have learned a new parliamentary procedure. Good. All right. I think,
Jeremy, please save that.
and thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody. Now, we have a couple other things we'd like to bring up. And John, you have one concern that you wanted to talk about. Yep. Mike.
Not that I embrace the prospect, but as in anticipation of a possible repeat of an earlier no funding situation, I think it's unfair to applicants because of the way the cycle works, that we don't advance into the next cycle all of those ranked proposals that were ignored, shall we say, by the appropriations process. This would require rules change. And I think it would need to have two things. We need to give the person submitting the application, the option to do it, because they may not want to go forward to the next year. And they may have to change budget issues and that sort of thing. Or allowing them to move forward with necessary changes to reflect the economic environment at the time. So that's probably something your lawyers are going to need to deal with, Angie. I don't know if anyone else agrees with me on this proposal, but I hate to have all of this work that goes into these applications, both on this commission's part and on the part of the people making the submissions, just go for nothing.
So then are you suggesting that we wouldn't accept any new applications?
No, only that the ones that were carried, that were not funded, and I'm talking only about those years when there's no funding at all, okay?
So then next year we could have a pool that we send to the legislature of 130.
Possibly.
Wouldn't that mean we still have to review all those
You would.
applications?
Still have to go through them. I mean, it would be a burden, but there's an awful, I mean, this is twice now we've been through this process, and I'm worried that we're losing a lot of valuable applicants.
What would you say if we close the application process? No new submissions, we're resubmitting last year's list.
That's another approach.
What do you mean by twice?
I have another. I would suggest that when we take the applications, put on it, this application is for this cycle. If you do not get it, you can apply again.
That's already true.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not, I mean, does it say that? I had some call me that they thought they were automatically on it. What I'm saying is they need to know that they are not automatically on it. A lot happens in a year, almost a year and a half. They may not want it. They may have gotten a grant. Although you are correct that we, I guess, should put them, the numbers would be too many. So I think somehow we state, if you do not get funded this year, you will have to reapply next year in bold letters. And then let it be them that decides whether they want to go on the list next year, not us.
The problem, John, is when the legislature fails to pass an appropriation bill until the way they did it this year, June 30th. They passed it on to the governor at that point. And so you wouldn't know whether you were funded or not funded in time to meet the application deadline. That's the dilemma.
May I speak?
It is a problem. It's not a perfect system.
Yeah.
But I can tell you it took a lot of time to do these. I mean, you're talking about, and we're gonna have to double that in here.
Well, Angie and
Yeah.
Melissa,
Yeah.
We'll certainly do whatever you recommend. I do know it's been a while.
What everybody wants.
It's been a while. We did have a situation probably 10 or 12 years ago where we did roll them over. One year we had ones that rolled over and we added more on to the bottom. What we found with the ones that rolled over was that it took a lot of effort to figure out who wanted to keep it, who had done part of the work and not the other part of the work. So they ended up having to basically reapply anyway. At that time, we actually had them reapply out of the system because that would probably require us to do a different sort of cycle, change up the format of the grant application, build something new to allow them to edit their application again. But we can do what you want, but it is going to take it would be a challenge for the staff to do that.
So the point I wanted to make was they can reapply. Even this happened a few years ago when we didn't get funding in 2021 and 22. We told people to just go ahead and apply. You don't know if it's the way the legislative cycle fell. We weren't gonna know the list or funding until after the cycle closed. So we told people, go ahead and apply for the same project, exact same project, any changes that there might be. And then once we knew the funding, right, ones that had applied and then did actually get funding, we just told them, okay, you can withdraw that application because you've got your funding and you don't need to move forward with the second application. So that is something that we could easily do any given year, is just tell all applicants when the legislature or the budget signing falls late, go ahead and reapply and, just to cover your bases. There's nothing.
We know the fiscal year will start at the same time every year.
Correct.
And it seems to me our application deadline doesn't contemplate that possibility very well, the way it works. And this may be totally impractical, but it seems to me if we could move that application deadline forward so that we would have knowledge of actions taken by the legislature and the governor on the 30th of June or 1st of July, whenever it gets signed, and we could act accordingly. I don't know. None of these are perfect solutions, obviously, but it's the timing. We may be fine this year because the January session we'll probably produce an appropriations bill before June 30th. I don't think that'll be an issue, but next year will be different. So,
I think June 1st is our deadline.
Yeah, but we do use the entire summer to review applications because we're not just taking special category, we're also taking in the cemetery grants and small matching. So staff is having to review usually like close to 200 applications in June, July, and August to be able to get them to the panel a month ahead of time.
We could look at bumping it maybe a little. It's been a department deadline too, is June 1st, so it would affect more than us, I believe. But we can discuss it with our secretary and staff.
Maybe leave it at this, if it's agreeable, and that would be to ask the department to review this problem and to see if there's a way for them to come up with some way to address it. I don't think we'll fix it today, but I'd like at least for someone to take a look at that who understands the big picture of all the grant cycles, et cetera, and the legislature's cycle as well. Maybe bring back a solution in time, if necessary, for us to adopt a rule that might accommodate it. Is that okay? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any flexibility moving the deadline for the other two programs, or are you running the same?
I mean, it's all in rules, so we'd have to do a rule change for all the deadlines are in each of the program guidelines, but they're the same deadlines, the same application window, April 1st to June 1st for all three programs. So it would require a rule change for all of them, which we can do.
Oh, the rules change too.
20 years.
I know there's a very specific set of guidelines.
It doesn't just involve us. Like once we come up with the language, then it has to go through just the rulemaking process, and general counsel's office works on that. But our usually averages 4 months just once we give it to general counsel. So we have to do our own changes, and that takes several months for us to review them internally in DHR, have a list of sign off on them, work through any issues. And then when we give it to, once we say, hey, here's what we want to do, general counsel, then it's usually for about 4 months, just with the timelines of rulemaking. And also every step of rulemaking goes through internal approval processes through the secretary. That's in statute.
But bearing in mind, we will have a little gap here to work with because the cycle, again, in the next session will be different. So there might be time to work it out.
Thank you. Good. We'll put it on the agenda. And yeah, it's something that we need to work on. Are there any other concerns?
I just have a comment about all of that. Just to remind all the commissioners, part of the issue of just rolling over an application automatically into the next cycle or next year is that and it's already been mentioned that so much can change in a year, but think about things like even their budgets, like cost of construction, cost of materials, the cost of what people charge to be a preservation consultant or a preservation architect, and all the people they're hiring. All those costs change every year. And based on supply of materials, you know, all the things.
All those things.
So, and things happen. We get a lot of applications from municipalities or county governments. Buildings go on dangerous buildings lists all the time from code enforcement or building departments or whatever. So cities and counties are constantly having to deal with a change in stature of a building, which might create a different situation for them of whether to apply for this or not. So it's very difficult to just say, oh, we're just going to roll everything over. And you have, but with all the new ones, yeah, you would have to re-rank all of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't believe it's a good idea to just add them to the following year. I think if they want to apply, they should apply. I think what we really need to do is find a way for this not to happen again. Zero funding for zero reasons, which is different to what's happened in the past. This is a very dangerous trend, and if it happens again, it's going to be total chaos. For example, I just sent an email to the Armory Art Center congratulating them on number 14. They replied, thank you, that's great. And then I said to them, by the way, make sure you contact your senator and your legislator. And they replied immediately saying that's the first thing they're going to do. I think we should contact the 55 shortlisted people and tell them to do the same thing.
Madam Chair, along those same lines, if I may, I wanted to offer a suggestion that would become a routine action on the part of the department when a grant is made and a project is completed, that the legislator in whose district that project has been done be advised of that and be given some kind of a summary of what happened and why. Why it was, because it will just further reinforce the visibility of this process and this commission. It also gets makes them aware of our existence.
And that it has been successfully completed
Yeah.
using the state's money.
Yeah, a picture and a paragraph of completed successful projects.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could we put on the applications if they're a preservation architect, yes or no? They have to answer it.
It's on there.
But it's on there, but it doesn't say you have to. We asked that question on every one of them. So obviously we need to change because they didn't answer it, or he wouldn't have to ask on each one. There's got to be a way that we put on that they have to answer. You have a regular architect or preservation architect. If that can be done, because I added up how many minutes we spent on that, and it just over an hour on that one subject. It should be in the application that they understand they got to answer it. And then we know the answer, and then we can address the ones that don't have it. Just an idea.
Mm-hmm. Can you pull up an application so we can see where it's pretty clear. There's a question that says, do you have a preservation architect? Are you hiring a preservation architect? Yes or no?
And if no, explain.
And then underneath that, if no, explain why not.
That's on the application.
Madam Chair, I think some folks just
Rick just likes to ask that.
Yeah. Well, we only had one person say they were not going to, and we let them know that was a bad idea.
Right.
So
right.
I just ask it because you never know, right? You just never know, And I think more and more we are getting applications with the architects already. I think this year we had a lot more than in previous years, and that to me is progress.
Because we just made that change, Rick. You requested that get added to the application. I believe staff recently just added that to the application.
That's right. That's progress.
Yep.
So we did talk about it a lot. We did. And, and when they weren't there, I mean, to me, that might be when the applicant doesn't hire one, then right. But in the application review process that the staff does, they could red flag that one and say to the applicant, along with you didn't do the budget right, or whatever, say, you have to hire a preservation architect. And if you don't, you're not going to get it, or something. I don't think that, but right. So maybe the staff can solve it. Yeah, well, right. Yeah, because we do take a good bit of time asking.
Give it to Jack. Oh, he's not even.
Oh,
he's not even here.
Yeah, I think sometimes people just misconstrue or they don't understand what the difference is. So that maybe.
I don't know how much clearer staff can be. Like it literally says, are you hiring a preservation architect?
I think when you have your team's meeting where you teach them how to fill in the applications, Jack should have 10 minutes to talk about the importance of getting qualified people on board as soon as possible.
In the training webinar, right? Here we go. Are you high? Yes or no?
And it says,
3.3.
professional services are required
Okay.
unless otherwise approved by the division. It's there. And underneath it, if a preservation architect is not included in your scope of work and the budget, explain why. And I know why Rick asked this so many times. Because sometimes, I get it now. Sometimes they put yes on were you hiring a preservation architect, but it wasn't reflected in their budget. There was no line item for those professional services, which is an expense, which is,
Plus, I want them to say verbally in front of all of us that they are, to commit them to doing that sort of work. Help Jack make his job easier.
We do about, some of these now did not have it, and we sent them forward anyway, so we need to think about, I don't know the answer.
Well, maybe their explanations were okay.
And we would
Like on this
adjust
fence
it.
around this Pioneer Cemetery. They don't need one. You know, it's not a historic fence.
So they can answer it, make sure they answer it if you're not.
That's right. Why
Fill
not?
that- They have to fill that out, the answer, and we won't have to ask it.
In archaeology projects, they're exempt.
Yeah, okay. If it's a fence on a cemetery, we don't know where the line is, we're not gonna cover it.
Right? And they don't need in their application, they didn't check it, and then they would be asked, why not? Right. Okay.
and this was the first cycle we've seen that on the application.
Is it?
We had this question, but it used to say architectural or engineering services, and we took engineering out so that it made it clear it's preservation architect. And though it might have been in there last year, but for sure this year.
Which is a great thing. You could tell the difference this year. Thank you for doing that.
Okay.
Applications overall were so much better, and I think a lot of kudos go to staff for that. We had several applicants tell us that they were helped tremendously by you, and just the quality of the applications were way better, and that may be due to your continued webinars for the applicants and that sort of thing. So definitely a higher caliber set of in my opinion, having reviewed these now for 5 years.
Forever.
Just really a good set of applications. And I think a lot of that is due to your guidance to them. So thank you.
Well, right, and I wrote a small matching grant for the nomination to the National Register, and y'all helped me a lot. You know, I didn't have to do the budget. I did a typical academic budget that had 40 lines in it. You know, they wanted 3. Thank you. And so they're very helpful. I mean, they're, you know, dealing with academics is almost as bad as dealing with the general public. Right. I mean, we're bad, and we're trained to be bad. Yeah. All right. I only had one little thing I noticed. When projects, and this is to the staff, when projects have an ongoing open grant, you read that long number. Could you just shorten the name of the grant instead of reading us that number? That number means nothing to us. I know it's official. I know that's what it is, but if you could give us just a little title. Right.
Still put it in the printed staff review.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's all.
John, to your point on the historic preservation architect, I looked at the directions on the grant and match funds here. It mentions if architectural services exceed a certain amount, et cetera. We might want to be sure to say, please place a line in the budget proposals that includes this service. That way, it'll be there or not. Is that something we can do?
That, and I think, yeah. The budget instructions page says you have to list every item separately, but then they don't. So some of them don't, a lot of them do. And then we go back to them during the RFI process and say, please break out your budget. And then they still don't do that. So some of them, most of them actually do what we request. It's only a handful that you'll see, when you went through those where we had the note, they didn't address it or only partially addressed it. But we try our best to get them to put specific line items for everything. And that can go to the quality of the application when you're reviewing.
It's like Kathleen said, this is a learning process, and I do believe we've made a lot of headway since I've been on the commission in the direction of a much more professionally structured application request and performance of applications. I just think it's so much better overall. So we're just kind of refining things as we go along.
And we also can't help ourselves. Michael.
Just a conversation, picking up on a conversation I had with Kathleen yesterday. I wonder if we as a commission could send just a standard email note to recipients who make the list, congratulating them, and a kind of what now? As commission members, we recommend you do the following. And then we can put together just a couple of bullet points, reach out to your representative, because some people know how this works, but most people don't know how this works. And especially the smaller grants, they don't know.
Right.
I actually had a conversation with Melissa Wiley, something about this last night, and mentioned to her that we could provide email addresses or something to the trust. I don't know if the trust would be an appropriate.
Well, she said that she would do it.
She did say she would do it?
Yes.
Okay.
And she told me she was ready to do something.
Okay.
Right,
Well,
get going.
I don't think anyone would be upset if they are our partner, so I don't think they would be upset if we provided an email. I don't think they're gonna spam anyone, just to reach out to them. We've done that in the past. They've requested.
And people who get on the list should be congratulated.
Yeah.
Even if it's not funded, it's.
This may be a stupid question, but I'm assuming it's just politically impossible.
Get your mic, get your mic.
But if the legislature could look forward and say, next year, we're going to provide $30 million for historic preservation, and then the applicants would know, if I get ranked, I'm going to get the money, rather than I'm doing all this work and going through all this business and I might get zero.
Unfortunately, the legislature would never do that. They can't project budgets in advance like that. We used to do that when we had biennial budgeting, but they gave up on that notion.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah. Yeah, and the small matching grants have recurring money of a couple $1 million. And so they can count on them. At least they can award grants up to $2 million. Sometimes it's more, and then they'll award farther down the list. That would be nice for special categories, but I don't think it's in the cards.
The only way is if you had a dedicated funding.
Yeah, right.
A revenue source.
Right.
And that could be done.
And tourism is huge with a big revenue producing part of the budget. And people do tour all of these. A significant proportion of these these properties are public.
Didn't it pass? My memory, I'm old, but I thought it passed the Senate, but not the House. Is that correct?
I think so. I was looking at the conference papers a little while ago.
Yeah, very unusual.
In many ways.
Year between, and it could be, nobody really knows what's going to happen this year. No. In all the years I know, Judy, you've been up here, Don, we've all been up here. I've never seen it quite like last year.
No.
And I hope
they're still mad.
If they get along, we have a better chance, because it doesn't do us any good to get through one if we don't get the other.
Right.
I think, hope it's better this year, but it was not last year. That was it's the first time we've never gotten anything, correct?
No.
It's been a long time.
10 years.
We didn't get funding in 2022 and 2023 because of, what was going on with budgets generally. And then prior to that, I think we didn't receive funding back in like 2008, 2009 period. That
Great Recession
We
period.
had to keep the program alive, even though we knew it wouldn't get funded. We accepted the applications and we kept the program alive so that when money was available, the budget could afford it, then they began to get funded. You know, they didn't go all the way down the list. This time, after the drought in funding, they funded the entire list. It was $77 million. The list had grown just tremendously in 24, and because people were rolling over. And the list of unfunded projects was just huge. And we kept re-ranking them and re-ranking them. And finally, we formed the coalition and the commission got politically active and we got the whole list, which was amazing.
Notifying the people that are on the list to talk to their
That's very important.
That's an excellent idea.
Excellent idea.
We should do that. Just tell them to do it. It gets caught up in I guarantee you that most of the legislators don't know whether these grants were funded in their place or not. Nobody's ever talked. So we put it in their mind and we put it in there, it'll probably get done.
Right. I agree. You know, every time we've had a push, it's worked because we brought it back to the front burner. We've made them aware of it. They like it. It's all over the state, from Pensacola to Jacksonville to Miami and even Key West. And you can't ask for a better spread than what we are able to offer. And they like that, you know, and they'll open the book and they'll look and see, well, this is there's a red dot in my district. Oh yeah. And that's such and such a project. And
you're bragging on getting it.
That's right. That's right.
We also have the study that was done by the University of Florida and the Florida Trust many years ago that mentioned how for every dollar spent in historic preservation, $8 were created in the marketplace. And I remember we went to visit Rick Scott and he didn't know anything about the study and he immediately got a copy of the study and it made an impact because he was all about jobs. And so even in 2025, we need to talk about things like that. We don't do a good job marketing ourselves, telling the success stories. And you know, the thing about preservation is that it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or independent. Everybody seems to like historic preservation. It's good for a community.
But the interesting thing is, Rick, like those numbers are so old from that University of Florida study, but Donovan Ripkema, who I know that you know, has actually done a bunch of recent studies of different areas around the state of Florida. It's actually more about $17 per dollar invested now.
That's awesome.
So it would be really great if we could somehow get Donovan Ripkema to just combine his various Florida studies and come up with a new like general statement for Florida.
Madam Chair? Yes. I was just going to say the previous economic impact study was done through a special project that's sort of taken off the top of the small matching grant money, which we can't do anymore. But I don't know if someone could figure out a way to apply. I don't know if Angie, that would be appropriate through a planning grant, perhaps. We could look at that and see if somebody wanted to apply, like the trust or another organization. Somebody would have to put forward an application to do that.
We have an institute at UWF called the Haas Institute, and they do market studies all the time, like that. Big staff, very credible. They would bid on something like that.
We can't initiate it
Right,
that
right,
way, and we
right.
don't have it in our budget to do it right now.
But just the point I was trying to make is like the return on the investment is now triple or double than what it was a few years ago. So people like things that are good returns on the investment.
Any other business? Yes.
A couple of items, I'll be brief. I mentioned earlier, Department of Management Services did contact me about the Beirut Memorial, which I don't remember which year that was passed, but they are ready to get that approved and get it installed as soon as possible. They asked not to wait until the November 6th, so they can go ahead and hopefully get that ordered if you all approve that. And so I'm looking at somewhere between October 9th and October 24th to try to get maybe just a 1-hour meeting scheduled So Cara will reach out to you all with a doodle poll so we can get some a date and just do a phone call, like a webinar like we've done with our other meetings, very short. And then I just wanted to mention our future meeting. Our next meeting for the commission will be November 7th, which is a Friday in the morning. The afternoon of November 6th, our National Register Review Board will meet also. So we hope to see some of you here. We especially hope to see you in person for the November meetings because we hope to invite the Semi-Quincentennial Commission to also come. And the plan is to probably have their meeting on the morning of the 6th, the National Register meeting on the afternoon of the 6th, FHC on the morning of the 7th. But in between and that evening, we want to have a reception so that all of you can come and meet the Semi-Quincentennial Commission. It's also a committee week. So we might have some legislators in town that might want to hang out with us. And we're looking at either doing it at the Union Bank or the 22nd floor. We haven't really quite figured that out yet, but do mark that date on your calendar, November 6th and 7th, and we can work with you to get travel to come to town if you can make it. That's all I've got.
Just adding to that point, any chance we could get name tags by then? Or what is the issue with name tags?
I was thinking the same thing.
You know, I was thinking at the reception yesterday, it would be really nice to identify commission members.
We used to get business cards.
Business cards, name tags.
We don't have either one.
We don't have either one.
I'll work on it, I promise.
Okay. And the University of Florida Historic St. Augustine Commission has them. They keep them at the end of the meeting so that people don't lose them and say, I need another one, I lost mine, or I forgot mine. So you just surrender it at the end of the meeting. But also, if you're going to meet with legislators, it's nice to have a name tag that identifies that you're part of the historical commission. I think it just lends some gravitas to the role, makes us look serious as opposed to some weird academic showing up saying, hey, I'm on this commission. Oh, are you? Prove it.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you speaking from experience?
A lot of experience, John.
Yeah. All right, any other business? Is there a motion to adjourn? Public comment? Is there anybody listening who would like to, in the public, who would like to make a comment?
If you're online and would like to make comment, please raise your hand or type your comment into the question panel. I'd be happy to read it out. I see no hands raised. If you would like to be recognized for public comment, go ahead and raise that hand.
Thank you. One more thing.
One last thing. I just want to thank staff again, because for all the work that we had to do, they had to write up the staff reports, they had to deal with the applicants and getting back to the applicants and all the things. So you get the rest of the day off.
Thank you.
You can't do that.
No, but seriously, thank you. Thank you for all you do and for responding to us whenever